The views on a Breath of Fresh Air podcast reflects the parties involved, and we encourage you all to use it as a conversational tool that will lead to personal studies of your own.
Hallelujah, 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 hallelujah.
Welcome to a Breath of Fresh Air podcast. Here with your hosts, Earl Roberts and Nakhaz Gay. As a young person, Christianity can be so foggy, like smoke in the mirrors and so unclear. But we're here to bring you a breath of fresh air.
Jacob. Bro, I'm so glad you cooked. Please give me some of your soup, bro. I feel like I'm starving.
Esau, you sure you want this too?
Come on, bro. I don't got time to play. Just please give me something to eat, though. Like I'm dying.
Man, Esau, you look real hungry there. But hold on, got one thing. Sell me a birthright and I'll give you some stew.
Jacob, what good is this birthright if I am about to die? Please, man. Please just give me something to eat and we can talk.
Yeah, hold on. Like I say, just sell me a birthright and I'll give you some stew. Easy.
Okay, deal. It's yours.
Perfect. Here you go, man. Guess what? I'll even throw in some bread for you.
Thanks, bro. Thanks.
Man, I can't believe you sell me this birthright for this stew. This ain't even chicken stew, this just lentil stew.
You can't believe. Trust me. This is some good stew. You gotta give yourself some more credit. Plus, I didn't care about that birthright anyway. I would have given you that for free. Pass the bread?
Here you go. Jacob and Esau, fraternal twins. Although they were twins, they were polar opposites and were always at odds with each other, even from birth. God told Rebekah, "You are carrying two nations inside of you, and the younger will rule over the older." In this episode, we will delve into Genesis 25 through 27 and explore the lives of Isaac's and Rebekah's children.
All right, I'm re-rolling.
All right.
So, we are back with another episode of Breath of Fresh Air. This week, we got an all-star lineup for you guys. We brought back two of our amazing guests. We brought back from episode 6, Daniel. And we brought back from episode 9, Eli. You could say something for the people real quick. I know y'all just like to smile and things, but we can't see smiles.
I'm honored and very happy to be a guest again. Looking forward to the day. Yeah.
What's up, y'all? Let's get it.
All right. So now the main point of this story that we're going to talk about, we're going to talk from Genesis 25 through 27. The main thing is Jacob and Esau, which we will get to. But I know in our last outro, we just talked briefly about Abraham went on to have some more wives. But I just want to unpack it because Keturah was a name in my ignorance. I didn't even know it was a biblical name, and I have a cousin named Keturah. I didn't know it was biblical.
It's all modern.
It sounds super modern,
yeah.
But Keturah was around from way back then when. And then we hear about Abraham having many sons. Mm-hmm. But I only know about 2.
Yeah, I only know about 2. That's like, even when you hear the song, I only think about Isaac and Ishmael. You know what I mean?
And I was like, Father Abraham had 2 sons.
Exactly. That don't even sound right though. You know what I mean? I thought it was meaning metaphorically.
Yeah, me too.
His sons had sons over there.
Yeah, no, but no, he legit had many sons because Keturah held it down for him.
Right, literally and metaphorically, he had many sons. So I know how you want to put it.
Oh, wow. But yeah, Keturah in the Bible, Genesis 25. Y'all could, read that up. But now we get to the main point. Jacob and Esau, 2 brothers. 2 nations bickering from birth. We see how this story, we grew up, it was such a cute story on TV just to see Jacob and Esau and just see how the parts wound out. But as in our just being older, we can actually unpack the story more, which I'm excited to do here tonight. So, I'm just open the floor. So we start seeing how, Jacob was born No, I'm going to take it back. I almost say Sarah. I still said Sarah. Rebecca was barren, and we see how Isaac prayed to the Lord to give them children, and then Rebecca felt this massive pain in her stomach and trying to figure out what was going on, and she herself prayed to the Lord and was saying, "Lord, what's happening?" And the Lord told her that 2 nations are inside your wombs, 2 peoples from within you will be separated. One people will be stronger than the other, and the other will serve the younger. And so now you see some time passed, and then she had twins.
Yeah.
Shout out to the twin on the show.
Hey, that's me, in case y'all didn't know. So I beat Jacob in this story.
Oh my, so now the 2 twins came out. One was red and very hairy, which is interesting. And so they called him Esau, names of meaning. So then after this, another brother came out, but he came out in an interesting way, I'd say. So this little baby was grasping onto the heel of his brother. And they call him Jacob. Now just imagine that scene. So imagine, I mean, I've never saw a birth live, but just imagine you see you having twins. And usually I know it takes a couple of minutes for the next one to come out, but they was coming out, and Jacob was like, "No, you ain't leaving me in here by myself. And matter of fact, come back here. Like, who told you could come out first, bro?"
Right. So think about what she was just talking to the angel about even before she had her children. It was a struggle in her womb. You know what I mean? So like, even up until birth, they could have just been struggling and wrestling the whole time. You know what I mean? To the point where my boy said, "You ain't going nowhere, bro. Like, I ain't finished with you, bro." You know what I'm saying? Like, even until birth.
Come back and catch the smoke.
Right, but what was interesting to me though is the fact that these are infants, bro, but they are so peculiar individually. One is super hairy to the point where we're gonna name you Harry. You know what I'm saying? And the other one is just grasping onto the heel of Harry to the point where they're like, "Bro, we gotta call you grasp onto the heel." You know what I'm saying?
And this is why I nicknamed this story The Adventures of Harry and Grabby, or McGrabstar, whichever one decides to float your boat. So when you hear me ever refer to these people as The Adventures of Harry and McGrabby, you know why. McGrabby. But so seriously, like, even like going off of that point. So how hairy do y'all think a baby has to be called Harry? Floor's open.
Pretty hairy, I think. You know what I'm saying?
Pretty hairy, because I mean, you know, in the
So
story,
we talking like full beard and mustache?
all over the place. I mean, hands, arms, neck, back. I mean, I can't even imagine a little, like I said, a little cub. Almost, you know. So
I mean, cause like, think about it. So now I know when I was graduating high school, right? I clearly am not a hairy person, but I had people from like grade 8 who had like full beards, and I was jealous.
Hold on, bro. My little brother is 13, bro. Has more of a mustache than me, bro. Putting me to shame, bro. I remember someone at work was asking me like, "How often do I shave?"
Bro,
and I was like,
they asked me how to work too.
Shave.
They asked me how to work too.
I don't do that. This is as far as my mustache grows.
Oh my. So now the Bible speeds up the story. So we teleport in the future. And so now we see the boys grew up. And so now we see the path these young men took. We see Esau was a hunter. He was a man of the field. And then we see Jacob was more reserved and quiet man, just staying amongst the tents. And so now we see Isaac had a taking to Esau. He admired Esau's wild life. Because if you remember, Isaac kind of grew up just herding sheep. So it was something that he just never did. So he kind of like aspired to be that kind of way. Like when the good boy wants to be the bad guy for something, you know?
Right, and you can see he's kind of living vicariously through Isaac.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Because Isaac, true, Esau. Right, that messed it up. Because watch it, because you have another person, and you can see kind of like a contrast in these two siblings. So you have one who's more reserved in the tents, XYZ. I would imagine that's how Isaac grew up in a way, because he was I don't want to say he's the only child, but he was like the only son around for a while. You know what I'm saying? But he didn't take a liking to Jacob. He's like, no. I like the guy who in the wildlife and who just lives such a exhilarating life. You know what I'm saying? Like he take a liking to that type of person. You know?
And this is a contrast too, because now we see how Isaac liked one son, one twin, but the next twin was loved and beloved by the mother. Yeah, so that's also interesting. So now we see how one day the story is painted of Jacob was, cooking some stew. Some lentil stew.
Some lentil stew.
I just want.
I know you have a problem with this too.
Yeah, no, we can get to that. We can get to that. We can get to that.
Yeah.
So now Esau came back from the country.
Yeah. Yes.
He came back and he was famished, very famished. Some would say on the verge of death. Some being Esau. So now we see he called up to Jacob. Hey, quick! Let me get some of that stew. And Jacob was like, first sell me a birthright. He ain't too much care about his brother being hungry.
No.
He said, you want the stew? The stew come with some stipulations. Because I clearly see how bad you want this.
Stipulation stew.
Stipulations
I
stew,
like
the
that.
double S.
There we
That
go.
stew smell real good too.
Right.
Had to.
Bro, so he said, sell me your birthright. And now we see Esau was like, bro, yeah, like, what good is this to me if I'm about to die? But that was like,
Hold on, y'all really think he's about to die though?
no, right. Anyway.
No, do y'all think this is a hyperbole or like he's about to die?
I feel like he was a little exaggerating, man. I mean, he came in from the field, hey, and that stew probably smelled real good. And he's like, hey man, give me some of that stew. I don't think he was about to die.
I don't think he's about to die. You know what I mean? Because I feel like his approach would have been different. Like, bro, he's about to die. I think he was, he's about to die. This is something important you should mention first off.
And bro, my thing is too, right? Like, I don't know how close these siblings was, but if you could truly see your brother is on the verge of expiring,
Death.
you ain't gonna come with too much negotiations. This is my brother, I don't want you to die. You coming up here, oh, you look normal. You hungry? Oh, okay, but hold on. Before I feed you this stew, I want your birthright.
Let's get down to business.
And your boy was like, okay, cool. You can have it. Jacob said, hold on. No. I don't want that. Let's make an oath. That's when you know it's serious. Because we talked about last week, or was it last week or 2 weeks ago?
At Abimelech?
Bro, yes, Abimelech. Bro, to make an oath, they had to touch each other.
Oh, no,
bro.
Eliezer and Abraham.
Bro, because you was a man,
Under his
a
thigh.
grown man touching your thigh, bro. Bro, this serious, bro. This serious.
Yeah.
This serious, bro. So I'm like, hold on, we making this out, bro. You really want this birthright. And clearly you really want this stew.
Yeah. That lentil stew.
Yeah, they didn't take the thigh method this time.
They still probably did though.
They may have.
Because the Bible
I know what they used to do back in the day.
the Bible going into details once about it, and they say, okay, this y'all just know this what happened.
They went into excruciating details. That's the last story.
Jacob said, okay, you know what? We make this out. And Jacob said, here's your stew. And then the Bible goes on to say Esau despised his birthright. So now, there's a couple things I want to ask you all. What is a birthright? And why y'all think this is so important?
All right, so without jumping the gun, I feel like the idea of a birthright, it take like twofold. Like it take on two characteristics. The first thing, like the actual birthright, you were born first, right? So there's certain things that's expected of you once your father passes away. Like your father, who is now the priest of the household, he gives you the birthright, and now you become the priest of the household. You become the authoritative figure, and then in this specific situation, the Messiah is gonna run through you. You understand? So like, it's a big responsibility to have the birthright at the time, and like even if you kind of look at the contrasting personalities between Jacob and Esau. Like it's hard to kind of imagine that Esau was enthusiastic about having this responsibility on him at the end of the day. Hey, we could already agree that he don't really make good choices because he went out in the field, like worked himself almost to die, and then he sells his birthright for soup. So now watch this. Something of this magnitude, bro, for you to trade it off for soup, you could already understand that he didn't really hold this at such high esteem. You know what I'm saying? So, yeah. So that's just the first.
And
Anybody else get some of that?
add in on top of that too is like to what you were saying is Esau, you know, and as you continue to hear more characteristics, he just doesn't seem like a responsible person. He doesn't seem like someone who cares about responsibility or plans or anything. You know, he's out in the field and he comes back famished. You know, I guess he didn't plan the meal. He didn't know how long he was going to be out there.
Like, why you in the field to get food, right?
You in there, right? Did you not find how good of a hunter was you? Like, you come back that tired and that hungry. Did you just go out there for a walk? It was like, you know, you just kept going for a while. It's like, you know, responsibility and the honor behind a birthright and what it stands for. Esau just doesn't strike me as the one that, like you said, truly cared or really thought about what all this meant.
I guess I will couple all of that with his lack of responsibility, with his lack of really having a heart tied to his birthright. I will couple it with he was in a compromising position because of his emotions, you know, and because of his what he was feeling, I'd say rather, you know, in his mind, he not about to die. You know, like, you're not starving, bro. You're a grown man. You just probably went trying to kill something. You know what I'm saying? Like you're not about to die. You're dramatic. You know what I'm saying? Like, you can't say you're famished. You went from famished to about to die. Like, how that work? You know, but, you know, in ministry, like training, they teach us that you make the worst decisions when you're sleepy, when you're angry, and when you're hungry, and when you're lonely, you know? And he made a rash decision, coupled with his bad characteristics, coupled with his lack of determination for the call that he was supposed to have, you know, he made a bad decision. So I think that I see myself in Esau sometimes. We all could say that we made bad decisions,
of course,
you know, when we follow our feelings over what we know in our head. He knew he was not about to die, bro.
I want to add a little bit on that too. It's like, so, you know, I try to put myself in the situation. He, you know, when he came in there famished, dying and everything, right? Jacob was like, you know, sell me your birthright. You know, now, sometimes we make rash decisions. Sometimes we're caught off guard. You know, I can see Esau coming in. But, you know, when he was like, I'm about to die, you know, Jacob comes again and says, no. Oh, you gonna do this? Oh, wait, hold on. We gonna do this for real. So I put myself in that situation. If I'm famished and everything, like, hey, give me that food. I'm thirsty. Oh, give me your car. Man, take the car. Hold on. Oh, no. Write this down. You gonna give me your car. Then I might be like, well, hold on. How hungry? Man, I'm gonna go grab a pack of noodles or something. Like, you know what I mean? You like it like that?
I'm gonna find some berries or something. It's not that deep.
You know, so it wasn't like it just like boom and he did it. You know, it was like Jacob was like, oh really? Okay, all right. We gonna
see how much I can get.
So again, I really think that phrase afterwards, he despised it. He knew what he was like, man, go take it. Give me that lentil soup.
That lentil soup.
That lentil soup, because back in the day, that was the good stuff. That was the good stuff.
Earl isn't too pleased with just
No. Okay, so it's a couple of things right there. Let's piggyback off what y'all said, even though I asked the question. So it's like, first of all, so I like what you said about it being more than just riches at the time. You had responsibility with this birthright, and we could see like how Esau didn't want the responsibility part of it. He despised, because it's like, you know, when you getting more than you ask for sometimes. Like you want this new position at work. You just really want the new income, but you don't want the work will come in this new income. That's kind of what Esau was into. He said, bro, I want this riches. But this next part of that, I ain't into being no priestly guy. I ain't into being in charge of the whole family.
I want to be a judicial figure.
Exactly, because like back in like when I was reading, trying to figure out what a birthright was, because we don't have birthrights nowadays, you know, well, not in our culture. Yeah. Like the birthright, bro, you the leader of the whole extended family at that point. All the aunties, uncles, nephews, everyone, you become the patriarch.
Oh wow.
You become the entire patriarch of the whole family, so you have all the responsibilities. But even your older siblings, like how it was Isaac, and Isaac was the one who was come after Abraham. Jacob would have been, or Esau would have been the one in charge of everybody else too, because you was the main top dog. It's like when you see in like feudal Japan and stuff, like you could be, once you're the son who get that blessing, that's you. You in charge of everybody else. You become the family boss,
Yeah.
head. You become head of the family at that point, no matter how old you is, but that's you. So that's what Esau was going to get into, but he didn't want that responsibility.
He didn't want the responsibility. He just wanted the blessings, or like he just wanted the rewards that come with it. You see what I'm saying?
But so now, since it was a package deal, one thing that, even though we're going to unpack this later, but one thing that what get me is that, like how Eli was saying, like he see himself in Esau. Sometimes I say, like, how much times have I personally given up something that God was trying to bless me, but I give it up for something so temporary and so fleeting. So this man gave up his birthright, all the blessings, for a bowl of veggie stew, bro. Bro, it wasn't no chicken in there, bro. It wasn't no beef. It wasn't no venison. It wasn't even no mutton, bro. Bro, just lentil, bro, beans, bro. Beans.
Nah, Earl, you know when we go to the Indian spot, they let the soup be hitting them.
The lentil was be hitting right, but it was getting better. That tiki masala.
Hey, but to your point, I wouldn't trade nothing for the lentil soup. So, okay.
Yeah, but I mean, like, so now even going back to the other point, it's like, so I know bro, like even when I was reading this, I'm like, bro, how many times have I personally given up on a blessing that God was trying to bless me for something so immediate gratification, bro? Because we live in the information society now. So we just want that instant gratification so much. And sometimes, bro, God's really be calling us to patience. And I know this ain't really the Esau and Jacob part of it, but at the same time, it's like, bro, this man gave up on his eternal blessings, his heavenly blessings, even his familiar blessings and riches for a bowl of soup in that minute.
Bro,
Yep.
I remember when I was like 11, and it was Children's Day or whatever, right? And we was doing David and Goliath. And guess who they picked to be David? Boy, it was me. You know what I mean? I don't even know why, bro. Like all my life through church, bro, they used to look at me as like the golden boy. I want you to sing the solo in the choir. You know what I mean? But it's like...
There's developing your voice from then for the Lord.
I appreciate it now, you know what I'm saying? But then it was just so much scrutiny I had to go through because my friends, who I don't know if they were jealous or if they just felt like this was something soft, like they'd give me these remarks and make me feel uncomfortable, and make me feel uncool. Like why I gotta be, you know what I mean? Why I gotta be Jesus? Like the next year I was Jesus, bro. Like,
It just kept growing more and more.
you feel me? So I remember this one time when I was 11, and this was kind of like, this was all coming together to make me stop wanting to be active in church, bro. Like in this type of role, like in Children's Day, I should say. I remember I went up there. It was a lot of my friends. They all had roles. Other people with other stuff, and nobody wanted to do it. But my mom sit me down for weeks, and I memorized that, bro. I was 100% ready for it, bro. When I get there, everybody mess up in church, bro.
Ouch.
And when it was my time, you know what I do?
Mess up.
I mess up in church, bro.
Whoa.
Intentionally mess up, bro.
I have a story similar to that, but I ain't getting into that.
See, right. But what I saying is though, bro, it's like I know God wasn't pleased by that. You know what I'm saying? This could have been time, and He used me specifically. But in this situation, I give up my blessing or my chance to be used by God just to fit in with the word. You know what I mean? So like even on a deeper level as Christians, bro, and me, you talking to someone who is in entertainment. You feel me? And it's like a slippery slope that I'm in because there's certain topics that I try my best not to engage in, right? But it's sometimes when like you face with a situation where, bro, I could go full-fledged in Christ, bro, and lose a lot of people's respect, or I could stay neutral, or I could go completely on the other side and get everybody attention and get everybody respect and the riches. And a lot of times, sad to say, people go hard and say, I ain't going on the path less travel. I'd rather go on the path that could bring me like riches and just notoriety and stuff like that. And this is something I even struggling with because I never put out a gospel song. You understand? But at the same time, I do reflect God in my stuff. But I don't just come out and say I worship Jesus and X, Y, Z. You feel me? So even what you saying, you feel Esau, bro. I feel Esau. You know what I mean? I used to do gospel poems in church. But if I was ever in a competition, I never doing a gospel poem in a competition or when it matter or when I can really touch people who are outside of the demographic that I've already touched in some type of way. You know what I mean? So like I definitely feel you on that, bro. So a lot of times we sell our birthright.
Mercy.
For lentil soup, bro.
For temporary satisfaction.
For lentil soup, bro.
Yeah,
Right.
yeah.
And it's even like in the modern days, like, dang it. the little simplest of things that we like compromise for, and just give up our heavenly treasures for. That's all I'm gonna say. Just give up our heavenly treasures for something fleeting.
Yeah.
But in that moment, they don't feel fleeting though, right? In that moment, they feel like they're everything, because you can't see nothing else, right? And even if you do, that thing is right there in your face, you know. So that's why I said I feel Esau, because we've all, whether we want to admit it or not, we've all been in that spot, because none of us are blameless. You know what I'm saying?
Definitely.
We've all been tempted. You know, God has a call on all of us that the enemy knows and that doesn't want us to have. You know, so we've all been in that spot.
For sure. Yeah, and this is just a little short commercial break. So for Genesis chapter 26, the following chapter deals with Isaac and Abimelech. It's not really specific to Jacob and Esau in any way. I think it's one chapter involving Esau.
Yep.
But
The Bible literally went on a commercial break.
for sure. So during this time, it was a famine in the land. And this is just the crash course on the crash synopsis. There was a famine in the land. The Lord instructed him not to go to Egypt, but to remain in that land. And while he was in that land,
Yeah, the Lord said, I will essentially confirm the promise I gave to Abraham with you, and you're going to have an oath. So your children will also be made numerous, and I will also bless you. And so now we see something even more interesting happen. Abimelech and Isaac had an Abimelech and Abraham story.
yeah. Right. So when Isaac was confronted and asked about his wife Rebecca, he said that it was his sister.
The apple don't fall far from the tree.
I'm telling you, I guess they were trained to do that in some type of way, or maybe he observed his father doing that. Who knows? But later on, Abimelech discovered that this wasn't truly his sister. You know what I'm saying? This is his wife, and he got upset and was saying, "Man, like if anybody touch you, bro, they will be put to death straight up." You know.
And then, so now Abimelech gave orders to the people, like you said, anyone who touched them will be put to death. And now we see Isaac started to reap the blessings from the Lord. So he planted a lot of crops and he reaped 100-fold.
100-fold.
Which is completely insane.
Right.
Any farmer would love that blessing. And so now Abimelech started to see Isaac was really blessed. And he said, guess what? Move away from us. You've become too powerful for us. We can't, essentially saying, we can't deal with you in our country. Your blessing is almost our curse. And so now Abimelech and his servants got kind of petty.
Yes, they got very salty about his blessings, you know. And so they took matters into their own hands. So they started giving him direct threats. They started filling up the wells that Abraham built. They started filling up with earth, I'm assuming dirt and rocks and trees or whatever. And they kept doing that. And it's to the point where Isaac just started digging other wells, you know what I'm saying? And eventually they left him alone.
And then so now we see Abimelech does what he does best. He went and said, okay, I see the Lord is blessing you. And so now what we need to do, we need to make an agreement. Swear to me this oath that I will not harm you and you will not harm me.
Exactly. And a similar thing that we saw with Abraham, just to provide a little more context. But if you want to get the full reading or the full understanding of this story, check out Genesis chapter 26.
Boom. Yeah, so now to keep it moving, so now we get to chapter 27. This is where things get a little interesting. So now the Bible paints a picture of Isaac being old and pretty much blind from how the story proceeds. So we see Isaac call up Esau and say, my son, before I die, let me bless you. I can put a pin there. So now we already established that God told Rebecca, hey,
I got you, bro. I got you.
Yeah.
you need friends like this.
Yeah.
But we see where God already told Rebecca that the younger should serve the older. The younger will rule over the older. Okay. But now we already know that Isaac really loves Esau.
Fox.
So now, as Kazi was mentioning earlier, the birthright and the blessing, they were intertwined. So now we see what Isaac was going to say. Isaac said, let me bless you before I die. And so in pre-production, we was talking about how just because two parties made a deal, but but party C really have the ultimate deciding factor where if this deal goes through or not, party C still have all the responsibility. I say that to say this. Jacob and Esau already made a deal you getting this birthright. But this birthright, ain't nothing could give us the birthright.
Yeah, we don't have the authority to give.
Exactly. Daddy got that power. So no matter if I make this deal with you, it's still in your responsibility to give me this birthright because I don't have the birthright. So I sell you my birthright. I sell you something I don't even have. So now I make you this oath. But ain't my responsibility to give to honor this deal. So that's the next thing what Esau might have been thinking. You want me to despise it? Yeah, you can have it. But still, I don't have it now either. But now we see when it's time for him to get it. His actions change a little bit.
So now guess what, right? The man despises birthright, right? We know that the birthright and the blessing, they two in one. They separate, but there's a package deal, bro. Does it say anywhere in the Bible where Esau was like, no, call my twin brother. Let's get him involved in this. Because he has a stake in this birthright.
Because he gave me that bowl of soup. Bring him.
I am a man of my word.
I have to honor my oath. Like, no.
I bet you that soup had some meat in it, though.
Yeah.
It would have been different. That's a different bargain.
Yeah, so I mean, like, so there's a reason why I paint that because now, even though they made this deal, Isaac still had the ultimate authority. And Isaac did not want to give the blessing to Jacob. But God already told him, guess what? The younger will rule the older. So now it's like we see this picture of Isaac trying to following in his daddy footsteps. The apple don't fall too far from the tree. Starting to take matters into his own hands. Saying, guess what? But I love Esau, baby. So Esau can get this. I know what Esau and Jacob had going on around, but 10 years ago, that ain't got nothing to do with me. Because I still have the authority at the end of the day. So you know what I could do with my birthright and my authority? I give it to Esau. He said, Esau, it's so funny. He said, Esau, go get your bow and your weapons and stuff and go kill
Some venison,
but make me some stew.
He is a lentils. No, it's like, hey, look at the lentils.
I tell you, the meat was missing. The meat was missing. The man dying, so he said, and he said he want a bowl of meat.
So, you know what? I just think interested, bro. There's two people who allegedly dying at the time,
Bro, like father, like son,
Like
bro.
father, like son. You understand?
Apple don't fall far from the tree, bro.
And the soup is involved, bro. I just want to say, bro, this family could have cooked.
Bro.
That's how I feel.
Right.
I feel like this family could have cooked, bro.
Right?
They from Andres, right? Name a person from Andres who can't cook.
I can't.
Oh,
I
okay.
cannot.
Exactly.
I cannot, bro. It's impossible. You can't be from Andres and can't cook. That's this. I do not name don't know what we talking about. But yeah, back on the topic, bro. So I feel like I seriously feel like the family recipe, bro,
Was impeccable.
It had to be, bro, because like
Impeccable.
we see how oaths and blessings are being made over a bowl of soup. You understand what I say?
Nothing can happen without a bowl of soup in that
can't.
family.
That's just how it is. That's just how it is. Bro, I really just want to say, bro,
I want to taste that soup.
I do too. Lentils, I'll accept the lentils. You know what I mean? Like I never had venison. I never had the I really don't sound too appealing to me. But I want to say, bro, Isaac had twins. Isaac, when he felt like he was about to die, calls one of them to blast them.
He called the older one.
He called the older one. He saying, bro, I about to die. So like to me, that make it seem like, bro, I about to die, bro. And this the last important thing that I had left. It's similar to when Abraham felt like he was about to die, and he called Eliezer, and they made the oath with the hand under the thigh, and he said, swear to me that you will not find a bride out of the Canaanite women for Isaac. You understand? I want you to find someone back in Haran, you know? So now Isaac is in the same situation. He feels like he's about to die, and this one last important thing that he's going to do is bless the son that he loves. And I just feel like, bro, like to me, it ain't sitting right, and it's personal, because I am a twin.
The younger twin.
I am a younger twin. Thank you for reminding me.
He's the younger twin.
You understand?
I mean, the Bible, you know.
I'm Jacob. But then you know what the Bible says about the younger? That's different.
These are deceivers.
Hey, we ain't even gotta get into that. But I just feel like, bro, I feel like Isaac is the root of this dysfunction as it trickled down just because of the way he maneuvered through things. Number one, like you mentioned earlier, when Rebecca had the pain in her stomach, she spoke to the angel. The angel told her that the younger would serve the older one. The Bible don't say she told her and Isaac. You understand? She told her. You feel me? And she had a love for what's your boy name? For Jacob. You know what I'm saying? She had a love for Jacob, right? So if like when I read Patriarchs and Prophets, Ellen White mentioned that Rebecca told Jacob Rebecca told Isaac Jacob should have the birthright. But because Isaac was so in love with Esau, it's like no, there's no way that's gonna happen. You know what I'm saying? So even if you are content to give Esau the birthright, why aren't you making your last moments inclusive of both of your sons who are twins? You know what I'm saying? It's like I'm isolating the other one completely out. And this one, bro, because I love you so much, bro, you know what I'm saying? I giving you this blessing, this big blessing. You see
What
me?
you're about to get into in a bit. Yep.
Yeah. So I feel like it's interesting, bro, because the last story we talk about, Abraham and Sarah, we see where Abraham listened to Sarah and had Hagar, and that was his downfall. Now Sarah told Abraham, yo, you gotta get Sarah out of here.
Yeah.
And Abraham was like, I don't really know if I'm feeling that. And then God had to tell him, bro, listen to your wife on this one. You know what I'm saying? We have an opposite thing happening now. We have where Rebecca, the wife, is trying to give Isaac counsel, which she heard from the Lord. And Isaac's like, bro, I'm not really feeling that.
Yeah.
This is my firstborn. I love this baby boy. This is my baby. Like, you know what I'm saying? And it's because of these situations, bro. When we it's like when we allow the cares of our heart, bro, to overpower the voice of God, that just have such a domino effect on other stuff that's happening later on down the line. You know what I'm saying?
For generations to come. For
Bible says
generations to
obedience is
come.
better than sacrifice.
Fox, bro.
I was thinking about the whole transaction of food, how much food brings that whole covenant thing together, right? I was like the food thing with Jacob and Esau, the food thing with Isaac and Esau, right? And it's like he had to go get some, come back. And I was thinking about Jesus, right? How the Passover, how like the communion and the breaking of bread for that covenant type of thing. And even Jesus dying, him being the bread of life for that covenant type of thing. You see what I'm saying? Like there's that much weight with, you know, a covenant. There's something about with food and the soul, you know. I don't know. I guess I still gotta unwrap that thought, but it really just came to my mind when it comes to the covenant, that like the depth of a covenant, you know, the sharing of food, the sharing of, you know.
Yeah, the breaking of bread and then just how like food is like symbolic and it's like a constant theme throughout covenants to come and stuff
Yeah,
like that.
and it's like even outside about, but just in history period, like when it's like a big celebration, it's like a sealing of an act, a sealing of a deal. Let's throw up in the
Slaughter the father's calf and stuff like that.
like in the
Esau-
world, it's like, we're gonna throw this
Yeah.
big celebration. This happened. Slaughter father's calf. Let's go be celebrating. This has happened. Boom.
And how Esau asked for food, but there was no covenant, so Jacob made a covenant. Like you're
Since we're
you're
already
a snake, bro.
we're already having food now.
Right,
so-
let's make a covenant, let's make it whole.
All right. So now we see how through Isaac telling all of this to Esau, his lovely wife was eavesdropping on this conversation.
Rebecca.
And so Rebecca was like, so you still gonna go against God? This Earl talking now. Just want to put this in the spot in the Bible. But you won't go against God and say you want to bless Esau. Guess what? No, I have second plans. I have another plan. So Rebecca went to her favorite son now, which is interesting. She went to her favorite son and say, guess what? Come quickly. Your father is about to bless Esau. We can't have that. So now, you go in the little herd, because Isaac was rich with a bunch of sheep and cow and cattle and stuff. Go get a little cow. I mean, it was a goat. Mutton. Go get a cow.
Yeah, two choice kids.
Yeah, two choice kids.
Two choice kids.
Two little goats. Two little billy goats.
Yeah.
Slaughter them. And she said, you know what? I can cook it how your daddy like it. Ain't nothing. I got a wife yet. You know what I'm saying? But ain't not like when your wife make you your favorite meal. I know I'm only make that food for daddy. Ooh. Ain't not like when your wife make you your favorite meal. So she said, guess what? I know exactly how we like it. I know that. That good stuff.
Good stuff.
Exactly. And so now, Rebecca came with this whole elaborate plan, and we see Jacob give a little pushback. He was like, so, but, you know, it's me. How daddy ain't gonna know is me. And we talking about me duplicating his favorite son. This ain't just, ain't just like someone duplicating me. This duplicating his favorite son. Like, how we ain't...
And we polar opposites.
Exactly.
Yep.
She say, hold on, guess what, bro? I got that. That same little go-to kill, I got a plan for that too. Don't throw away the hell.
Keep that. Don't waste time around here.
Nothing is gonna waste. And so now we see how she put...
No, but hold on, bro.
What happened?
It's like,
Keep
even
going.
before,
Keep going.
he say, bro, he even elaborate on it. He say, bro, look, Esau, my brother, is a hairy man, and I am a smooth-skinned man. Perhaps my father will fail me, and I shall be a deceiver to him, and he shall bring a curse on myself and not a blessing.
Bro, and that's just true. I like how you bring that back up. Because what she say after that?
She said, I will bear the curse.
She said, don't worry about that. Don't worry about that. Him? Curse you?
Yeah.
You? Jacob? No, I can take it.
Let your curse be on me, my son. Only obey my voice and go get them for me.
My goodness.
She wasn't even worried.
No.
She was, I take that on.
I got a question for y'all now. This could be interesting. So, it's going to be weird, me even asking this question. But, so, was Rebecca being an agent of God in causing Jacob to still get the blessing that God promised him, while Isaac was trying to give it to Esau, who God did not choose as the promised son? Like how Abraham was trying to give the blessing to Ishmael, and God was like, I already told you Isaac should be the one getting the blessing. I just find that interesting. I always want to get your guys' perspective on it.
I feel like Rebecca is comparable to Sarah in how Sarah proposed. Okay, so, all right, so even before Ishmael and Isaac, they knew that the promise was that they will have a son. Rebecca knows that the promise is the younger son would serve, the older son would serve the younger son, right? At a time where you feel like this is not going to happen, it's like and your faith is tested and your faith is weak in that scenario. We see where Sarah says, hey, I'm barren. I've been barren for a long time. You understand? I like 75, 80 now. You know what I'm saying? Take my maidservant and marry her. And I feel like that's the same. So essentially taking matters into your own hand.
Yes.
Like we ain't waiting on God no more. We being proactive about this. And I feel like that is the same situation where Rebecca is saying, all right, the youngest supposed to have the birthright, but it ain't about to happen. And it appears that it's not going to happen. We don't know how God was going to make this happen. You feel me? Because God did promises. You know what I'm saying? And it's like he don't make mistakes and he's not a man and he should lie. You understand? So we don't know how this was going to happen. But we do know that somebody intersected it from happening by taking matters into their own hands. You understand? So I feel like even before Ishmael, like a parallel we can make is when people take matters into their own hands, and we can see the negative effects of that. You know what I'm saying?
To add on that, I feel with Rebecca, she heard what God told her. And I know, like, the Lord says my ways are not your ways. And he so basically what I want to say is this. When you follow God's word, the best thing to do is not try to figure it out, not try to put your twist on how you think it's supposed to go. And when I think about it in my life in certain situations, I know that the Lord has told me to go forward and do something, and it did not turn out the way I thought or the way that it was supposed to. But later on down the line, it happened as what he said. So I feel in this situation with Rebecca, I think she's doing what's right. I believe that she is an agent behind the Lord. We look at it as like, but this seems so deceitful. She heard the word of what he was, of who was going to get the blessing, who was going to be first, and she was like, "We're gonna make this happen."
So it's basically she did the right thing, but in like a wrong type of way, like in a deceiving type of way.
I will say in a way that we wouldn't look at it like, I don't think that's right, but it'll make you question the whole scenario. But it's like, wait, what was God's word? Who was going to get it? And again, that's her, taking what she heard, putting it in putting it under her own way that she thought it was supposed to happen, which I don't know to say if that was right. Like, who knows what God would have done, but it was going to happen the way God said.
So ultimately, she was following God.
Yes.
For a fact, yeah, I feel.
I think for me, I'm kind of remorseful if I think about it, because over the span of my life, it's always been demonize Rebecca. She did the wrong thing, right? But like I never. When you read the Bible for yourself, you see things differently, and you see that the Lord told her, like, a word from him. You know what I'm saying? And what do you do when the priest of your home won't follow God, what God told you to do? Right? How, like, you're struggling with that thing, right? And you're holding that thing for so long, right? So then your feelings and the time is running out and your trust in God is wavering. So you do instead of waiting on God. You know, that's the same thing that Isaac's parents did. You know what I'm saying? With Ishmael. You know, Hagar and Ishmael. I don't know how God's going to do it, so let's do it this way. You know what I'm saying? You doing the same thing. I don't know how God's going to do it, so do it this way. You know, and for me personally, she might have done what she thought was right in that moment, right? But if it wasn't what God told her to do, then for me it's still in vain because you don't know what God was going to do. You know, like in that last moment, your faith ran out in that last moment. So you took matters into your own hands. Granted, she wanted to do what God wanted. Like she knew what God said, but she didn't know what God was going to do. Her heart was in the right place, you know, but it's not what God told you to do. So therefore, it's still sin. You know, in my opinion.
Yeah.
So
I get you. Nah, what say you?
I thought I was going to avoid this question.
No.
Personally, yeah, I think the motives were true, because she did hear God say the younger would rule over the older, and then, but how I look at it too, there was also some biases interwoven in there too. Why would made her jump the gun? Because here is how I also think she's looking at it too. My son is the promised son. Almost like how Sarah was looking at Isaac as, my son is the promised son. So they both are sons, but my favorite son is the promised son. He entitled to get this blessing what God already told me he's supposed to get. Now, she looking at Isaac as, you trying to bless your favorite son who ain't supposed to get the blessing. So I look at it more as that family relationship's like, yeah, God told her this, but what made her so even much more eager to take it into her own hands? Because we don't know how God would have worked it out. So it's going to be kind of futile to even like try to speculate that part. But we knew God had a plan. But we just knew she kind of skipped over God's plan and said, you know what, this is going to be the plan. So to me, she was wrong, but she was she got the right answer by cheating. She was taking a test. She peek over, get the answer, but she still get the right answer.
It's like,
is it the right answer though?
To me, it's the right answer because Jacob was supposed to get it. So that's the only reason. So I just count the right answer as the net result.
Right.
That's what I counted as. I just counted the net result. The net result was supposed to be Jacob was supposed to end up with the blessing. So that happened.
Yes.
That's why I say she cheated, because how she get the right answer wasn't supposed to be the way you get. Like, she ain't study for this test. She show up to the exam being like, woo, got 2 minutes left. I don't know what's going on. Let me peek over here. Okay, the answers are 58. No working, no nothing.
But I think that's the issue though, right? Like, that's where your faith right now. You know what I'm saying? So that's, I don't know, like the Bible says, lest the Lord build the house is in vain. You know, like whether your intentions are good or not, you know, in that moment, you took away the opportunity for God to come through, you know. And I think about, not to jump the gun, but I think about Jacob's life for the next 14 years.
I agree.
Like, it's set him back.
Because here's the thing. Like, I like how you say that too, because here's the thing. We know that everyone has to suffer for their actions. So now, guess what? The net result's still the same, but since you cheated, you still got have repercussions for your cheating. We still have repercussions for all of our sins. Like we talked about in the, whichever episode that was the fall. When our sin, we racking up debt. We rocking up debt, and the wages of sin is debt. So guess what? At the end of the day, we still all supposed to die, but through grace and mercy, through God coming down and sacrificing Himself, we don't have to pay this bill. The bill already paid in full for us through Jesus Christ. So with them, bro, yeah, you get this birthright that you coveted so much and you wanted so much, but all the burden that come with that, because you steal with it, you still have to go through that. So yeah, you get the right answer, but to what avail at that point? And I know we jumping the gun even more, but we see how God still had to come back again and give him another blessing. Because the first blessing you get, you steal that. I would still want to bless you, but you steal this first one. So really and truly, you ain't earned this first one.
Bro,
that's how I look at it.
All right, so we might as well progress this from Rebecca for a second, right?
Yeah.
We understand her heart was in the right place.
Yes.
Was in the right place, and that's why she pushed him to do this, bro. But even as him executing it, bro, he wasn't moving virtuously, bro. Like,
No.
like everything was just straight deceit after that. You know what I'm saying? So that's like, all right, we might as well just go into it.
Yeah,
Let's go into it. So Genesis 27 verse 18. So he went to his father and said, "My father." And he said, "Here I am. Who are you, my son?" So all right, so this is what I was saying. Bro, think about this, right? Imagine you, right? You just saw your favorite son. You say, "Hey, go in the fields, get everything, blah, blah, blah." We just had a conversation. This might take you 5 hours for you to do. 2 hours later, you come back and you talking to your son, who you just heard. So you could tell that this ain't the same guy I just was talking to you, bro. We just had this, I'm blind. So my senses are heightened in a way. You know what I'm saying? So I know how my son sounds. You feel me? And you know who you expecting. So now the next person you expect is to be Esau. You come through, you hear this voice. Of course he knows how Jacob voices. But because it was completely not what you expected and take him off guard, like, wait, who are you? You know what I mean? And see, and that also gave Jacob a vehicle to start lying.
So yeah, give Jacob a vehicle to start lying. So now we see how, bro, Isaac just really, I don't know if he just, okay, so like how, because Kazi said this before, I don't even steal your point.
Do you think?
But think about it. This even shows how much more he wanted to bless Esau. Because all the signs was there that this wasn't Esau, but he couldn't bring himself to accept that. Because there's no possible way this couldn't be Esau, because guess what? The only person I told I'm going to bless and to bring me stew was Esau.
Bro, and then think about from Esau was born, bro. You just couldn't wait for this moment, bro. So this the moment. So you eager to do this, bro. I'm eager to get this off, bro. Understand what I said? So it's like, it's been times when I was like, you know, like, oh, when somebody might propose something to you and they trying to swindle you, but it sounds so good and so juicy, even though you feel like, oh, this might be a scam. You're like, all right, I'm gonna do it anyway, because you know the reward is just so much great, and then you end up getting scammed and you say, man, I might as well just stop and think. All the signs is right there. I just was too eager.
What you thought the reward would be.
Exactly.
And it's like you see how Isaac was trying to rationalize it. Who is this? Esau? How did you get it so quickly? Someone say what Jacob say.
Because the Lord your God brought it to me.
Wow.
That's foul, bro.
You moving spooky when you bring God into
I'm
your
telling
life.
you, lying,
You moving real spooky, bro.
Boy. What, man?
Bro, it's like, is this now someone can correct me if I'm wrong. Is this the first time we see someone lie and say on God? Essentially, guess what? This is the equivalent of what we do today and we say on God.
God.
On God.
He was the first on God.
He was the first on God. Oh,
on God.
man.
Because, I mean, it's because like, he knew this line gonna work on Daddy. Because who could argue with God?
No one.
I say God bless him because guess what? I'm about to get this blessing. So, bro, and you see Jacob was like, you know what? Come close to me. Let me feel you. Come give me a kiss.
Let me feel you.
I ain't know the kissing way down. It's still kind of wet. You know what I'm saying? He said, come here, let me touch you to know whether you're really Esau or not. Jacob come close. He said, guess what? The voice sound like Jacob. The voice sound like Jacob, but it smell and feel like Esau.
And this wasn't a thought of his. He said this out loud.
Exactly. Like, and you can imagine Jacob this whole time. Bro,
Oh, Lord.
he buying it. He actually buying it. Bro, this man just said it sound like Jacob. Mother said he wanted me. But no, he still gonna bless me?
How bad do you gotta want something in order to convince yourself you know, that this is like, I know this is not it, but I'm gonna try to make it. Like I'm gonna make this it. You know what I'm saying? When you know that's not it. And Kaz, what you said before was deep, bro.
Go for it.
Like he's blind, so his other senses
Should be heightened.
are that's human. Like that's you know what I'm saying?
Scientific.
That's scientific. Your other senses are going to be heightened,
Bro.
and you overrode all of those other heightened on top of your own conscious. When you, I'm sure he had an intuition, like God telling me this is not him.
Because here's the thing,
you know,
one
it
more-
smell like him, it feel like him.
Because
You know what I'm saying?
the next thing too is like, bro, when you go blind, the sense that actually gets better is your hearing. That's why a lot of blind people, they almost have what I call like echolocation, like the dolphins.
Oh,
So
yeah,
come
yeah.
with the little stick, and they could hear everything, bro.
Yeah, yeah.
And like their hearing becomes their sight because they can know, okay, this is our pavement. A tree is going to be about 3 feet that way. Like they just know that just from the hearing, the clicks bounce off of the walls and stuff. So like the scent that actually gets better is your hearing. So now, I even think that's why it's even more powerful. They say, bro, this sounds like Jacob, bro. Because this like, I know this Jacob.
Yeah.
Because this is your favorite son. You probably spend more time with Esau than you did with Jacob.
For sure.
So you know how Esau's supposed to sound. And you say, you know what? 2 out of the 3 there, I can still bless this one.
Bro, this was so funny, bro. So the Bible says in verse 23, and he did not recognize him because he did not recognize him because his hands were hairy like his brother Esau's hands. Wait. And he did not recognize him. Oh yeah, and this is after when he say
The voice was
is in
Jacob.
there. Yeah.
But his hands are of Esau.
Right. So he blessed him, right? But then,
Foolishness.
but look at verse 24, bro. Then he said, "Are you really my son Esau?" One more time, bro.
Exactly.
Because
Bro,
like he's super skeptical right now, bro. Like, you sure he was Esau? You know what I mean? And what my boy said, I am.
And there's so much going on here that got me thinking too. Is like, yeah, we're looking at who is this? Isaac. We're looking at everything that Isaac is saying and pointed out, but I'm also like going through here where, I mean, Jacob is deceiving his father, and through all of the interrogation and everything, he's continuing to do so. And I mean, it really makes me just feel like I don't think I could have gone through that of lying to my father, even though you were sitting there for a reason. But it's like you keep saying, he keep asking, "Are you sure you my son?" Yes, I am. You don't sound like him. Yes, I am. Like, oh man, this is heavy. This is heavy.
Like all them asking, like I said before, is Isaac trying to reinforce it in his mind, even though he know he's doing a bad thing, but he gonna convince himself. But I also see it as all these are opportunities for
you
Jacob to be like, you know
own up,
what,
right? To
86 the plan. You know what, I'm Jacob, I'm not Esau.
To own up.
Hey, that's it. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But all these, you know what I'm saying? They both went to that much length to do what they wanted over what God wanted.
Bro. Now I want to get into this coveted blessing. Isaac proceeds to say, the smell of my son. My goodness. He like this, I don't know what this Esau smelled like. But the smell of my son. Oh, he tells me, it's like the smell of a field. The Lord blessed him. May God give you heaven's dew of the earth richness, an abundance of green and new wine. May nations serve you and peoples bow down to you. Be the Lord over your brothers, and may the sons of your mother bow down to you. May those who curse you be cursed, and those who bless you be blessed. And now we see where it comes all full circle, how the birthright was intertwined with this blessing.
Yes.
Because may all your mother's sons bow down to you. You are becoming the head of the family. May you, and we even see how the part of the blessing that Abraham got was passed down to him now too. All those who curse you will be cursed, and all those who bless you will be blessed. And that was a blessing from God. That was what God told Abraham. Abraham passed that down on to Isaac, and now Isaac is passing on this blessing from God down onto his son Jacob now, who in his mind, he's blessing Esau. So now we even see, going back to how we were saying that, Jacob and Esau made this contract, but Isaac was the one who held all the keys. And we see Isaac was fully intending to give all of this literally, we going to see in a minute, everything
Yeah.
to Esau. He wasn't trying to give Jacob nothing. Wow.
So now this where the sad part of the story
Yeah.
comes from. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
We're gonna have a soundboard, cue tiny violin music.
Alright, so verse 30. Now it happened, as soon as Isaac had finished blessing Jacob, and Jacob had scarcely gone out from the presence of Isaac his father, that Esau, his brother, came in from his hunting. He also had made savory food and brought it to his father, and said to his father, "Let my father arise and eat of his son's game,
Dead I'll be. Dead I'll be.
that your soul may bless me." And his father Isaac said to him, "Who are you?" Who are you? So he don't do them with the who are you? You know what I mean? And his father Isaac said to him, and he said, "I am your son, your firstborn, Esau." Then Isaac trembled exceedingly and said, "Who? Where is the one who hunted game and brought it to me? I ate all of it before you came, and I have blessed him, and indeed he shall be blessed."
He shall be blessed.
Boy, oh boy.
And it's something too, because like when I was growing up, in my childlike ignorance, I was like, so bro, why Isaac couldn't just revoke that blessing and bless him again? But this was something like, bro, once you get this birthright, and this is almost like a law, bro. Like it was like law. You get this, that's it.
It's a covenant.
What is done is done. What is done is done. So now we seeing like Isaac was saying, bro, I blessed him, and he will indeed be blessed. Because Isaac there's nothing else I could do.
Nothing.
And to add on top of that, hearing these words like, why couldn't he give him something? And as we get a little further, he's like,
Keep going.
Give me something. And he's like, I can't give you nothing. But it goes to show how, during these times, like the birthright, the blessing, these things was understood and known to be of so importance. Again, like back previously when we were saying, like, he despised the birthright. You hear what's going on here. There was nothing left for him to give. So, you see how he's reacting from it, and he wanted those rewards, but the responsibility, despised it. And this is the sad part, man.
So watch this, right? In verse 36, Esau said, "Is he not rightly named Jacob? For he has supplanted me these 2 times. He took away my birthright, and now look, he has taken away my blessing." And he said, "Have you not received a blessing from me?" And that's the part what you was mentioning, right? So that's why this one thing I wanted to unpack for a second, bro. When they were born, we have Harry. Esau, his name means hairy. He was also called Edom because he was red. You know what I'm saying? Redhead. The guy Jacob was holding on to the feet of his brother. Jacob means holds on to the heel. But Jacob also has 2 other meanings. One other meaning of Jacob is to mean deceiver. And another meaning is to say supplanter. So, and the definition of supplanter, and this me paraphrasing, is someone who takes something from you wrongfully. Like someone who skips you in line, or somebody who deceives you out of something. So Jacob lived up to his name. You understand what I'm saying? And now it just clicking to Esau. Esau was like, well, mother said, I guess that's why they name him Jacob. Because he already supplanted these things for me twice. You know what I'm saying? So it's something to really click. And I just say that to say, bro, like it's amazing the power that names have in the Bible.
Thing.
Methuselah means
Old.
His death.
But his death shall bring.
His death shall bring.
His death shall bring.
And in the death of Methuselah
Is when the flood came.
is when the flood came. You understand what I'm saying? Isaac means laughter. You feel me? When Abraham heard the news, he started laughing. When Sarah heard the news, she started laughing. She started laughing. So you can see instances where people name you based on the situations that happened. But now in Jacob, you can see the name that he was given. He brought meaning to that name. You understand? Because they name him that because he was holding on to the heel. But the meaning also means to deceive or to supplant something. And he brought meaning to that part of the name. And that wasn't their intention. You understand what I'm saying?
There's one more thing you was going to say something? So there's one more thing I wanted to say too. Like, we see the story of Esau who despised his heavenly treasures. who didn't want them originally. But now we see him crying, Father, do you have any more blessings for me? Father, I know I didn't want it, but please bless me. Father, is there anything else you can do to me? Give to me. He didn't want this originally. We were not getting this energy from Esau, as we say in today's day. We wasn't getting this energy from him originally. But now we see. He sees what he has missed out on. He sees what he could have had. He all of a sudden wants it. And that even gets me back thinking again, like, how much times do we give up on something great and amazing for something so temporary? Because, see, and the funny thing about it, we know the story of Esau. We see how this one ends. But how much times we don't even know what we're missing out on because we never know what the net result's going to be. And I'm just like, bro, like, it's just so crazy because, like, we see how Isaac had nothing left to give him. Nothing left. The blessing, what Esau was more of a curse, if you ask me.
That's what I say. That wasn't a blessing at all to me. That was just stating the obvious.
That was just like, bro, since you really want something, let me just tell you what it's gonna be. So your blessing is a curse now.
Think about this. You begging your father, bless me, and you know you all have such a love for each other, bro. And the guy turn around and say, by your sword you shall live and you shall serve your brother. What?
Bro, he said, bro, your dwelling will be away from the earth's riches. Away from the dew of heaven's love. So everything that Jacob got, his was the complete opposite, bro. The complete opposite.
Yeah, bro. So like, this was like, to me, this wasn't even a blessing, bro. This was him just telling you. I mean, that's what it's gonna be, bro.
These are the repercussions.
Yeah, these.
But it's also these are repercussions of your actions, though. You feel me? Because those 2 times you didn't give it up by yourself. I mean, Jacob didn't take it by himself. You gave it up, right? And I read something that said Esau only really wanted it when it was time to reap it. He didn't want to do the work of the sowing. He didn't want to do the work of the protecting, but he wanted to reap the tangible benefits. And that's when it's too late because you didn't commit, but you want the benefit. So,
without the work. He didn't want to put in the work, you know. It makes you think of the faith without works, everything. And again, it just seems to be more of his characteristics. Though we read in this and seeing just how, you know, harsh this is, it just makes me it makes me want to tie it into my life as to how it's so important to just obedience and to walk by the faith and to continue to, you know, don't look at it as like, you know, what rewards or what am I going to get or anything about this. You know, the Lord will supply all of that when that time comes. So it's important to be in it for the long haul, to be in it for the struggle. You see that an individual like Esau, you know, he was only in it for rewards, pleasure. And how many times do we see today the impulses, you know, of going out there, just wanting to have fun, wanting to have the reward system. And the moment, you know, tough times hit, we want to quickly blame the Lord for what we're going through or what's going on, what's happening, why is it such a mess and all of this. But yet, you know, walking in that obedience, we rarely do that. So, you know, to hear this harsh, you know, this is what it's going to be, you know, I feel that a lot of people are getting this is what it's going to be because you haven't really been being obedient. Listening to what the Lord has to say.
Right, so.
Let me go.
No, I wasn't going to say nothing. I was going to talk about, now after all of this, right? After the guy, you know, he wanted it after it was time to receive it, that's when he started to want it and all of that. Because he didn't get it, bro. From a friend, from a brother, bro, he turned to a mortal enemy of this guy.
He is about to say this could be the next Cain and Able, buddy.
Bro, for sure, bro.
No, literally.
No, yeah, literally, bro. I gotta flip the switch, bro.
Yeah, he say, right, you see what he say? He say, you know, at least he had a little
respectful.
He had a little compassion. He say, Daddy about to die. After I done mourning him, but it's on.
I would kill my brother Jacob.
Without remorse.
Bro, this wasn't even something where you had to decipher it or like.
No.
Bro,
he about to snatch it back.
Yeah, for sure.
He said, you got the bag, I about to snatch this bag from you again. No, all them riches are gonna be mine.
Again, impulse. You know, this dude is off of impulse and emotion, and he can go from left to right. And I think, as we see this story and we see this breaking down, I see today, it's a lot of us that live like that.
Yes, sir.
It's a lot of that go off of the emotion and the impulse of the moment. And as the story goes on, you just see where this continues to lead this man. So there's some lessons in here that we can definitely tie in today. And, the impulse, the fast life, the adrenaline rush, the always in the moment and always looking for the moment, that's really what our, culture and everything is about today. It will lead you down a path that you're no longer looking to the Lord. You're looking to yourself. You're letting these moments guide you.
What feels good.
Yeah.
So and it made me think about how sometimes we can be really tight with God when we want a promotion.
Oh yeah.
You understand what I'm saying? When we really need a breakthrough. What? Fasting. You know what I'm saying?
On my face. Do you hear me? My prayer closet, the candle's going. You know what I'm saying?
Man, I got a perfect story for this, man. This ain't my story at all, but I heard this story before. It was this CEO of this business, right? I don't know why he didn't have an assigned parking space, but he right there riding through the parking lot. He said, Lord, I have a meeting in 10 minutes. If you could help me find a parking spot, I'll go to church and I'll stop drinking. He found someone pull up. He said, never mind, Lord. I found one. But the thing is, how much times we do that? Because I can tell you how much times I pray for something. I say, Lord, if this happened, I could do X, Y, and Z. Didn't happen. What happened? So I look at that story. I'm like, whoa. When I first heard the story, that hit me like a ton of bricks. Because I'm like, woo, I am so guilty of that.
Oh, yeah. And that's how I feel. That's how I feel the scenario with Esau, where he was very passionate and just very he just diligent about having this thing because of the benefit right there. You understand what I'm saying? So it's I had the cusp of getting this promotion. So I prayed and I fasted and I really just trying to connect and it genuine, though. But I don't have the discipline to sustain this because it's a motive behind it.
Yep.
You know what I'm saying? So it's I feel, all right, so we can look at Esau, and even when we look at the wives we took and stuff like that, we don't look at him as somebody who was really just following God earnestly and stuff like that. You know what I'm saying? We can look at him and say, oh, this guy just was wild and X, Y, Z. But it's you could easily put yourself in this situation. You know what I'm saying? Where it's times when I really want my birthright, when I could see the blessing and touch. Because that's Esau. When they was in the field, there wasn't no blessing right there. You understand? And he wanted the gratification of eating. That was his blessing right there. You understand? So he was willing to trade off the responsibilities of the birthright. So now fast forward, when we see the birthright and then the riches and then the blessings of just ruling over people and stuff like that was at the cusp. When we at the cusp of that, Esau was he was ready to the point where he's now wanting to kill his brother for taking that away from him. You understand? So we can see how committed Esau was to these specific blessings.
Yeah.
And might I say, this wasn't a thought of his. This guy he also was verbally stating that he's going to kill his brother when his father dies. You know what I'm saying? It was so much to the point where Rebecca found out about it, and she pulled Jacob aside and say, hey bro, you gotta go, bro.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? You gotta get out of here, bro. Your brother wants to kill you. You know what I'm saying? Let me find the exact text. I'm sorry.
Yeah, it was 42.
Yeah, so she says, surely your brother Esau comforts himself concerning you by intending to kill you. You imagine if your mommy tell you that? Oh yeah, your brother super mad at you, bro, and only come for the finals, no, he can kill you, when the time right. That's crazy.
And now we see Rebecca saying, you know what you need to do? You need to go to my brother, your uncle,
Uncle Laban.
The
infamous.
We gonna get to him.
Oh, we got part Laban.
we gonna get to him. But she said, you know what? Go to him and stay with him for a while. Cause surely I can't lose both of my sons today. And to me this echoes back to the Cain and Able story. Where as soon as one son died, the next one got cursed and banished. And she said, you know what? I'm enough to see you for a while, you're my favorite son, but I can't lose both of my sons. So she said, I'll stay here with Esau
Yeah, I'll stay enough to deal with him. And then she said, go to Laban for a few days, and essentially she said when he calmed down, I can send word to bring you back. And unfortunately, this would have been the last time the Bible documents Jacob and his mother Rebecca ever even talking.
Yeah, this is the last time she ever see her favorite son.
You understand what I'm saying?
Wow.
So and like this kind of a heartbreaking turn. You know what I'm saying? Where it's like the decisions you make, like taking responsibility into your own hand, does have its repercussions. You know what I'm saying? And like what a way to go, bro.
Right.
What a way to go. It's like you want this preset, bro, and you've been sowing that seed, like Elijah said, you've been sowing your seed all your life. Now you have to run away from your brother, your only sibling who want to kill you. You understand? So now I gotta go to a land where I don't even know these people. You feel me? And now I have the birthright, but I don't have no love. I don't really have no comfort. Like a refuge, like a fugitive in a way. You know what I mean? Like a nomad.
The one person that rode for him, he got to be separated from, and they never speak again.
Exactly.
The one, his mom is the only one that rode for him, the only one that was ride or die for him, and now they never speak again.
But remember what she said: "Let the curse fall on me." You understand what I'm saying? So I feel like that hurt her more than it hurt Jacob. Because it come a time when you grow and you have a family of your own. This Rebecca's family, you know what I'm saying? She loved her son, and because of the situations they put themselves in, they don't even get to see each other no more. You know what I mean?
I think one thought just kind of in my head is, why don't we learn? Like, why don't we learn? Why do we keep repeating the same behavior through generations?
Bro, I like this point.
Like, I think about Abraham and Sarah. As I was reading, I think verse like 24, not chapter 24, something like that, in there somewhere. Like, I see Isaac doing the same thing his father did. Like, Isaac goes somewhere with Rebecca, and he's like, nah, I'm gonna say you my sister.
Oh, with Abimelech.
Yeah,
To the same person.
I'm gonna say you my sister.
Oh, that's the same city and everything.
Your
Yeah.
father did the same thing, bro.
Yeah.
Like, why do we keep allowing these
your
generational
grandfather.
mistakes to keep going? Where is it gonna stop? You dig what I'm saying?
The reason why I like your point is because guess what? And this really jumping the gun, but this man name got changed to Israel, and the children of Israel, they do not learn.
They don't learn. Stubborn.
They don't learn.
Stubborn people.
They don't
Stubborn
learn.
people. Stubborn
And,
people.
I mean, because here's the reason why I like your point so much is because why don't we, like we're saying, like why don't they learn? Like the history then was kind of limited, so they ain't not much. So you only got a lot to decipher through. But us, we have the whole Bible. We have the whole Bible, and we still making the same mistakes today.
Over and over and
Because
over.
I guilty of that. We just say we all identify with Esau. We all identify with Jacob too.
Yeah.
We still making the same mistakes today because that's just sin.
And it should be so grotesque to us, though.
It should
like,
be.
It should be so, because like they keep feeling the repercussions of the sins and just doing things their own way, but they keep doing it. The Bible says, "As a fool turns back to his folly, a dog turns back to his vomit." Why do we keep doing the stupidness, bro? Like, we see it, and yet it's in us, though, right? Like, it's literally in us, right? I think that's where that great controversy comes from. That's where that internal war comes from. Because think about it, before Jacob and Esau even born, Rebecca's told, "Yo, you have a war inside of you." You dig what I'm saying?
Man,
I don't know.
And like I think like Paul said it. I really love Paul, but Paul said it best, bro. The things
I want to do, I don't do. The things I try to stop doing, I do.
I do. That's just what sin is, bro.
Yeah.
That's what sin is. Because think about it, bro. We all know we shouldn't be doing X, Y, and Z, and just out of our own giving up to our fleshly desires.
Yeah.
That's the best way I could say it, bro. Just give up to our fleshly desires,
Yeah.
bro. We crumble.
My grandfather used to say, "You don't hear in the ear, you feel in your rear." And we don't. But I'm feeling it. I'm still doing foolishness.
We
You
feel
dig
it,
what
and
I'm
we
saying?
still do because think about it, like it's like you say. I love what you said, bro. Like you say, bro, it should hurt us. But the crazy thing is, bro, sin hurts us every day.
Every day.
Every day, bro. We living in the midst of a plague right now, bro. People dying on the streets, bro.
And I think that's why God detests sin so much, right? Because of how quick we are to go right back to it. But we're not as quick to go or turn around and go right back to Him. You feel me? We make that our God instead of, you know what I'm saying? Wow.
You hit it, because even earlier on when we were reading the scripture, man, I just kept this word, kept hitting me, and The answer is it's the flesh, guys.
Yeah.
It's the flesh. Every situation we read, when we hear they do the same thing or they mess up, it's them turning to the flesh and trying to control things through their understanding. And it's like you were saying before, I think you said it was Paul. You know, I don't want to do it. I don't even want to do it, but I do it anyway. It's that flesh, and that flesh is a trap. It is something, our flesh is gravitated towards sin. It's gravitated to that disobedience to the Lord, which is why he says, you know, you got to walk in the Spirit. When we continue to live this life through that flesh, that's why time and time again, even the people that later on come, you know, the Israelites, you know what I'm saying, the stiff-necked, stubborn people, it's the flesh, always trying to live through the flesh or understand God through the flesh, or even trying to walk through God by using the flesh. It's always going to lead to that same result, sin.
Man, I just really like that right now because, and this is going to be a perfect way just to segue into the ending. Like, we all out there find ourselves just constantly just giving into our desires. It's funny how we find, like, we despise the stuff that's actually good for us. And as simple as eating vegetables when you're younger versus drinking a soda, you definitely want the soda more than your vegetables.
Sure enough, dude.
But now it's like, when it comes to God, we despise God. Like Kasi said earlier, following God ain't cool. And so we despise this. Esau despised. He despised it. Like, he just despised following God. It literally despised him. But when he saw all the blessings that comes with it, he wanted it all of a sudden. And to me, it's like, think about all the people right now who despise God, who out there living the fast life with no care in the world. God's still calling them to come to him.
Calling.
But now they don't know what they're giving up. They don't know the treasures in heaven. They don't see that picture in Revelation when it talks about the glory of heaven and the glory of God and us being there to live with him forever. To live with him forever. But they don't see they giving up on that. Because all they see right now in the front of them is these temporary, these fleeting things that we can have now. We can have now. We can have the bake house now. We can have this fast car now. We can have all of this. But what is all of this to a mansion in heaven? Why are we so focused on storing up all of these treasures on earth when we can store all of these up into heaven? What does it profit a man to gain the whole world, the whole world, but to lose his soul?
Sibling rivalry, a theme that is no stranger to the patriarchs of the Bible. Here we find Jacob, the possessor of the coveted birthright and blessing, now escaping to the land of his mother. But during his travel, Jacob was visited by God in what was a very memorable dream for Jacob. But we'll talk about that on the next episode of A Breath of Fresh Air. Tonight's episode included voice acting by your hosts, Earl Roberts and Nakhaz. Remember to go ahead and research on your own in order to get a more firm understanding of tonight's episode. And if you enjoyed it, make sure to like, subscribe, and share with your friends. You can follow us on social media at A Breath of Fresh Air Pod on Instagram and BOFAPOD on Twitter. Thanks everyone, and we'll see you next week.